No, it wasn't, and as a matter of fact, I'm just gonna withdraw it.
Okay.
So do we have a motion? Do we have a motion to make a recommendation to the council?
Do we need a motion to make a recommendation?
Yes.
Or do we have to say what the recommendation is?
We say what the recommendation is. Do we have a motion?
All right, I'll make a motion
Thank you, Pat.
I make a motion that we recommend that the council, that we approve the applicant's
No.
Requested change.
requested check, please, it's getting like a lunatic here. Right, I make a motion that we make a motion that we recommend exactly what the applicant has put in tonight for an application to the town council
Right.
For approval.
for approval.
Do we have a second for that? No second?
I'll second it.
You seconded. Discussion. I think we probably had all the discussion.
I have short word to say, and I want to make it clear that this application is no different from the application we had a year ago. That it is still fuzzy what it's going to be, even though they state that they've done certain things. So, you ready for a vote?
Yes.
I'll vote against.
What exactly are you fuzzy
Can we
about?
vote?
I'm sorry. Right now, you're taking a vote. I'm sorry.
I
There's
didn't
no-
have an opportunity to
You've
make a
had-
closing
Seriously, you've
remarks.
had enough response on there.
Mr. Biggs, I didn't have an
What's the
opportunity to
question?
make closing comments.
I'm sorry,
No.
there's a motion and a vote.
So you're going
Yeah,
to
what do you
deny my being heard to make closing remarks to the statements that were
I
made?
think due process has been served tonight. Thank you very much.
Right. We have a motion. Can we have a roll call, please? Madam Town Clerk?
Chairman Navarre,
No.
Vice Chair Mead,
Yes.
Board Member Robinson,
No.
Board Member Schulmeyer,
Yes.
Board Member Festino.
No.
Right.
Now, the other issue then you have is how do you create a response statement now about this vote? Which is
What exactly is being a response statement?
It's not defined, which is why I disagree with Peter. I mean, it's not defined.
We
The
had-
response statement, you said last year, you defined it as everything, entirely correct, that's our response statement. I think you have to write a response statement like that, create one. Somebody should have to write it.
I think those-
From this board.
From this board.
From this board, somebody has to write.
I mean, isn't it sufficient? Isn't it
Excuse me,
sufficient?
we're still,
There's a meeting. Isn't it sufficient for us to make, in a response statement, to thank,
it's very loud, it's hard to provide for me to hear.
Rex is taking care of it.
isn't a response statement to thank all those residents of the town for responding to our request for comments, which will be forwarded to the council. I mean, that's a response statement.
That's an interpretation, I mean, that's pretty gratuitous.
Well, it's a response. We're just thanking people for, we're responding to their 5 comments by thanking them and forwarding them to the town council. What other response do you make?
Well, you can make, as an example, you can respond by discussing the process. You can define your parameters as opposed to limiting yourself to responding by saying, thanks a lot, you 5 people.
But this is all we have to respond to. All we have to respond to is the public comment.
How about explaining why you're recommending denial?
You-
How about that?
You can respond in any way you want to, Michael, but one thing is that, I don't want to see us running away from, now that, the vote is in, I don't wanna see us running away from the fact that just because you guys have your 3 votes, then we're chopped liver over in the corner someplace. You know, I mean, maybe we have something to say as it relates to the response statement, and we should be able to do that, as opposed to having you like the whole thing, and just talk about, you know, that's all I'm asking you.
No, I agree. We agree, I agree. No
Because
problem.
someday, you know, it'll be flipped, you know, it'll be different, and everyone should be able to have that
I agree.
opportunity.
I agree, I just don't know what,
Public comments.
I don't know either now, because I gotta say, it's 9:15,
I
I'm
don't
rude.
know, I
you
don't
know.
know.
But I mean, I'm sure we can get something figured out. I mean, I don't know if we can, I don't think it'd be very productive right now, but I think that we probably would. Everybody's had to fight getting
We
beat up.
have 2 weeks
No, it's
2
2
weeks
weeks before
before the-
adoption.
before
So
the
if
final.
we knew we were gonna be setting it for February, it would be sometime in the end of January, you would know.
It'd be due 2 weeks before the meeting.
No, 2 weeks before the adoption.
The adoption.
Okay, I'm sorry.
And it's an ordinance, so it, you know, it has,
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's not a problem.
there's a
I have a
transmittal,
question.
in this instance, there's a transmittal hearing. And then that's the one that, then they send everything up to DCA, that's what we had last year in June, and then it gets sent up, and then we had work reports, et cetera. So the transmittal hearing is truly the important hearing, and you could set that for February, or we have to set it for February if you don't have a response statement from you yet. But if you wanted to meet again in January, and totally for the idea of you all just having a draft of something that you can agree upon, and everybody kind of like put it together and meld it, or you could even have your own statements, and you could make that your response statement. I mean, it's truly up to you all, how you want that response statement to be drafted. Because there is no definition of it.
Yeah, I know, that's why I say.
I mean, in the response statement from the board, can it therefore be a response statement of a combination of a response from each member of the board? That doesn't seem to me to be a response statement from the board.
Well,
And I don't,
it's no different than what you suggested last year. You created a response statement saying everything was gonna be the record. So, I mean, you know, whatever you all decide tonight is your response statement.
I think you can agree.
Can I ask you a question?
I think it's good,
Sure.
Jen.
Since I don't have a college degree. All right, now what does this mean? They put an application in, and so it's not recommended that it sends to the council for a vote, right?
All you're saying is it's gonna move on to the council. This exact thing is gonna move on to the council.
Even though, oh, no, no, right, I understand, right.
With the recommendation of denial from LPA.
no, I have
And they
a
can either
question.
accept that or reject it.
I have a question, Brad. If the council, at their first hearing, reject the application, does that become the final hearing?
It would,
It would.
because it's not gonna be sent up to DCA.
So we have to make sure that any response statement goes in to be on the safe side at least 2 weeks before the council have their first hearing.
That's it,
Correct.
yeah.
Right.
Well, their next meeting is December 15th, but that won't be, this won't be on there.
No.
But I mean, initially, in terms of our being able to get, we've got people we could communicate through to avoid a conflict here with the state law, in terms of being able to get together. You know, you can write something. You know, it's not that, I don't know,
I just don't know what a response statement is going to say apart from thanking people for their contributions.
well, why don't you let us everybody give some thought, and we'll bring it back.
Mike, why don't you draft something?
I
and
will.
send it
Oh, I'm
to
definitely
Jax?
going to
I think
do
that's a
that.
good idea.
Yeah, I have no
Let's
problem.
start there. Let's just start there. Let Michael draft something, let's start there. I think it's a great
Yeah.
idea. We'll start
Do
there.
that.
You don't need to own it.
No, I don't need to
Chairman
plug
Navarro.
everybody down. You know,
Well, one thing you.
No, I agree. We don't
One
don't
thing you would need to
disagree.
do, though, so you don't have to re-advertise this hearing, is to postpone to a time certain. If you can postpone to a time certain, we don't have to advertise again, we're just moving to a
So we
time
can
certain.
postpone it and then we're
So
going
you can
to
postpone to a time certain in order to draft a response statement and agree upon, actually, to agree upon a response
agree upon
statement.
this.
And it doesn't have to have any public comment, we don't have to go into this all again, we just have to sit here with.
But it has to be a properly noticed meeting in order to enact it,
It
correct?
really does, and
Okay.
it's not wise to even start to like move things through his office because he becomes a conduit at that point.
And that's
a
again
design.
sunshine.
I think we're all squared away on how to get
Yeah, I think
ourselves
that's fine.
started.
Okay,
Fine.
So we each draft something.
No, no.
No, I'm
No, Mr.
I'm
Mead is
basically
gonna
gonna
draft.
draft,
Draft
you know,
something, right.
And
an
the
outline.
lady without the college degree on the end.
Yeah. I'm gonna do an outline so that we know where we're going,
Right,
we know without specifics,
Right.
and that will include involvement.
right.
And then we can modify that and then tighten it up.
It's because we'll all get a copy of it in advance,
Yeah.
and then we'll come here, we'll have a discussion about it, and we'll finish it. That's fine,
And
that
you
works
also
for
have the
me.
benefit of the minutes, I mean, you will have the
And you
benefit.
have the minutes by then, the draft of the minutes,
But
that's
I really
fine.
think you need to think about the date, because you're gonna be out of the country, aren't you?
So am I.
Yeah.
You are gonna be out of the country?
Yes, sir.
Okay,
I'm gonna be
so-
out of the state for,
Okay,
until the middle of
look at
January.
your January calendar,
We've
I
got,
have one.
That's
How
okay.
it's serious. It's serious.
How does sometime in the week of January the 17th sound?
You got a series here, you got lecture series, a music series, you can't make any plans tonight without checking with the office.
Right.
Because there might not be room.
They might have, they have all these
You
nights.
have to notice the meeting, and, no,
Right.
well,
No,
no, wait a
that's what I'm
minute.
saying, you wouldn't really have to notice the meeting if you make it postpone to a time certain.
Right.
You're
Right
fine.
now.
You're fine, if
Okay,
you just do
so
it
pick a
tonight.
date. I don't have my calendar, but that's all right, I can work with that. I know
Right, have
it's
you got a calendar of what's on, Janet?
the
I know
11th.
the 28th,
Can you find
that my condo is having, their annual meeting here, okay? And I know that, you know, you got music and,
Yeah.
the lecture series going, so it'd have to be, you know, some night that they don't have you, so I guess,
If you
Well,
can hold on for
right.
just a second, we've only got, we know we have two nights that are basically booked. We have a couple other people that have booked in January. Other than that, you'll have some dates, if you let Janet go and
Yeah.
find that information out for you.
What is the best night for everybody, and I'll double check, but Wednesday and Thursdays are out, those are the late.
and 28th, I know this is stupid, Southgate has got, their annual meeting here.
Tuesdays,
Tuesday's fine. Isn't that good?
January's I don't have my calendar, I did not bring it, and I'm telling you, January is nuts for me, so. I know the 11th, 12th, and 13th, I can't do it. But I have other,
Fridays good?
it doesn't matter.
Friday's fine.
Hey, I'm happy to do 8:30 in the morning. I mean, I can do in the morning, before I go to work.
Right now, I can do anything.
I mean, if do we have to do it at night? Couldn't we do it during the day?
You've had your initial one where you've taken the decision after 5 o'clock.
After 5, okay,
Yeah.
never mind. Just a suggestion. Okay, so we're gonna wait for Janet.
Just, yeah, she just wants to
Okay.
check. with me.
I'm gonna do 8:30 meeting as well.
I'll make you coffee.
And just from my understanding, then you're just gonna be, Michael, drafting some sort of response statement. And then you're all gonna be talking about it and kind of, at least you're gonna have an outline of one. And then you'll see if you fit in with that, and then you'll just agree upon some language. And that's gonna be your response statement.
I can send us copies of it.
Oh, absolutely.
We get copies in advance. and then-
But if you do not respond.
You can't respond.
Okay, so you can send a copy
No, but
out.
we have it so we can make our own.
But we need
I've
them.
notified
Then you
them.
respond and then.
I'm gonna put it.
Don't respond online.
Oh, my God.
Oh, they don't mind on number, right?
No, no, no.
They're gonna be outside.